Well, Assam Finance Minister Ajanta Neog today tabled the first budget of the Himanta Biswa Sarma-led Assam government in the state. Neog created history by becoming the first woman finance minister of Assam to table the budget. The Assam budget for the fiscal year 2021-2022 envisages to pave the way for a self-reliant Assam with big focus on health, education and welfare schemes. In fact, it would not be wrong to term it as a welfare budget which ensured no additional taxes from the aadmi, besides providing relief to small traders and artisans and those burdened by microfinance loans. The budget is also being seen as a fulfillment of the BJP's major poll promises, including microfinance loan waivers, bid to recruit 1 lakh educated youths by the state government, and providing a further boost to the social welfare schemes in the state.
অসমৰ প্ৰথম গৰাকী মহিলা বিত্তমন্ত্ৰী হিচাপে বাজেট দাখিলৰ দৰে পবিত্ৰ কৰ্তব্যৰ দায়িত্ব সম্পাদন কৰিবলৈ পাই অধ্যক্ষ মহোদয় মই গৌৰৱান্বিত। ৰাজ্যখনৰ কোভিড চিত্ত সংকটৰ মুহূৰ্তত এগৰাকী মাতৃৰ মমতাভৰা অন্তৰেৰে বাজেটখন প্ৰস্তুত কৰিবলৈ চেষ্টা চলাইছিলোঁ। মই আগবঢ়াৰ পূৰ্বে আগন্তুক অলিম্পিকত অংশগ্ৰহণৰ বাবে টকিঅ'লৈ যাত্ৰা কৰা লাভলীনা বুঢ়াগোহাঁইলৈ অসমৰ ৰাইজৰ হৈ শুভেচ্ছা জ্ঞাপন কৰিছোঁ। মহোদয়, আমি সকলোৱে জানো যে অৰ্থনীতি যেনেকৈ ব্যক্তিগত স্তৰত এটা পৰিয়ালৰ অন্যতম মূল বিষয়, ঠিক তেনেকৈ ই ৰাষ্ট্ৰ বা ৰাজ্যৰ ক্ষেত্ৰতো মূল বিষয়।
And meanwhile, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, after the tabling of the budget, termed it as a red letter day for the state. Chief Minister Sarma said that the government has tried to fulfill most of the pre-poll promises made by the BJP-led coalition before coming to power, which includes the incentivization or waiving off of microfinance loans, creation of over 1 lakh new government jobs in the government sector besides others. The Chief Minister also added here that the budget has tried to touch every aspect of socio, political, economic and cultural life.
It is a red letter day in the history of Assam. For the first time, a woman finance minister, Srimati Ajanta Neog, has presented annual budget of our government in the floor of the assembly. She is the first woman finance minister to present a full budget in the floor. So we are extremely happy that a new landmark has been created in the floor of the house. In this budget, we have tried to implement all our election promises, whether it is an incentivization and waiver of microfinance loan, creation of 1 lakh new job in the government sector, continuity and expanding the horizon of Arunodoy scheme, or whether to actually demolish the digital divide, to provide smartphone to the class 9 and 10 students of the government schools with a free internet package, or whether it is establishment of 1,000 new hospital in view of COVID, new 5 medical colleges. We try to touch every angle or every aspect of our socio-political, cultural and economic life. This budget has specifically laid focus on the agricultural revolution, whether it is a blue revolution or whether it is a green revolution. We try to create a new atmosphere of renewed agricultural rejuvenation in our state. I'd like to congratulate Finance Minister Srimati Ajanta Neog for her historical budget.
And we have the first reactions coming in from Assam Finance Minister Ajanta Neog, so let's listen in.
I placed this budget for the financial year 2021 and 2022 on the floor of the House. I prepared this budget not only as a mere statement of document of expenditure and receipt, but as a vision document for the next 5 years to come. While preparing budget, I kept in my mind 2 basic things that are present pandemic situation and another continuity of our development procedure. So I want to keep a balance in between the two. So my priority in the budget was to how to give relief permanently or any kind to the COVID affected people, and secondly to augment the state revenue in the rural sector and also to expeditiously augment the development procedure of my state. I hope that this budget will definitely fulfill the hopes and aspirations of the people of my state. We have some statements in the budget that there should not be any further engrossment. So we'll keep a constant vigil on that area, hill areas.
So there you have it, viewers, a historic day for Assam, which has been termed by the Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma as a red letter day for the state, as the Finance Minister Ajanta Neog tabled the first budget of the new Assam government. So let's have a look at the self-reliant budget that has been talked so much about. Ajanta Neog has created history, of course, as the first woman finance minister of the state to table the budget. Also, focus is on education, health and welfare, and of course infra building in the state. These are the main areas of focus as far as the budget is concerned. Microfinancing, incentives, initiatives, these are also a big point of focus, viewers, to safeguard the economy and of course microfinance loan waivers. Recruitment of 1 lakh youths in the government sector, another big focus for the government as far as this budget that has been tabled is concerned. These are some of the main areas, the highlights of the budget. Also, boost to Orunodoy, increase in monthly amount to 1,000 per family from the current 830 rupees. That is also another big highlight as far as the budget session and the budget that has been tabled is concerned. Boost to the health infra, 1,000 health sub-centers to be converted into full-fledged hospitals, viewers. Another big, bold, ambitious step by the Finance Department of the state. Boost to the health infra, as I was just talking about, 5 new medical colleges to come up, of course, as we have been constantly saying, not a joke to come up with as many as 5 new hospitals in the state, and that is also part of the government's plans. A boost to the health infra, 1,000 model Anganwadi centers with facility of childcare will also be set up, and this of course comes just in time when fears of a possible third wave which might be affecting children especially has come to the fore. So this is another big part of the government's budget. COVID relief schemes, as we've been talking about COVID, financial assistance to families not covered under the Chief Minister's Fishu Seva scheme or COVID-19 widow support scheme. These are also some of the ways in which the government is trying to compensate for people who have lost a dear one as part of COVID-19. COVID relief schemes also include financial assistance to COVID orphans, boost to major road infra projects worth over 5,000 crores underway under the Ohom Mala scheme. These are also a part of this historic budget, viewers. Boost to road infra, another major point of focus. Special assistance also to be given to small traders and artisans in the state. This is, of course, another way that the state government is trying to bring up an upliftment effort for the small traders and artisans who are working across Assam. And one-time grant of rupees 10,000 will be provided to these small traders and artisans across the state. Also, if we look at these all stats here, smartphones for students of classes 9 and 10 from government schools will be provided. This is, of course, another big boost to the education sector of Assam. Students of classes 9 and 10 to be given smartphones. Of course, big move. New district of Tamulpur will also be created. Another very big highlight of the budget this time. New district of Tamulpur will be created, and also boost to the security in the state. 10 new commando battalions will also be set up as far as the budget is concerned. So indeed, viewers, these are the main highlights to speak of as far as the historic budget that was tabled in the Assam Assembly's budget session earlier today. And of course, a Northeast Live editor-in-chief Wasbir Hussain earlier today gave a perspective on the historic budget that was tabled this morning.
This is a historic day in the sense that Assam has its first woman finance minister, and Ms. Ajanta Neog laid her first budget and created history by being the first woman finance minister of the state to present the state budget. And of course, this is important in another sense that this is the first budget of Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma. That is also why it is also significant. This was a long budget speech, Raunak, 2.5 hours hours almost that Ajanta Neog has been reading out the budget. And what I would say, my first point that I would like to note here at this point, Ronak, is that the BJP during the ruling party, that is, they had released a Sankalp Patra, as they called the election manifesto, when they went to the polls earlier this year. Couple of months ago, they had released the Sankalp Patra before the polls, and where they had highlighted their main election promises. And the budget reflected a translation of that Sankalp Patra into actionable points, in the sense that the government has decided to actually implement most of its promises that it had made in the Sankalp Patra. Of course, since it is an economy hit by COVID, there has been a lot of emphasis on what the government has done as far as health infrastructure is concerned, creating emergency health infrastructure to deal with COVID, and that has also resulted in the government coming up with a scheme to provide relief to widows of those COVID patients who had died, as well as COVID orphans. So that is also found reflection in the budget, apart from the health infra, and that is, I am not surprised therefore that the government has decided to allocate more than 7,000 crores in the health budget, and that is one of the highest department that has a very high allocation.
Right.
Of course, the department that has got the highest allocation is finance. Then of course the government has laid a lot of emphasis on education, about 20,000 crore allocation in the education sector. Public works, particularly roads, Panchayat and rural development is another area where the government has a lot of focus, apart from pension and public grievances. Ronak, at the end of the day, I would like to begin by saying that this is an attempt by the Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma government to translate the Sankalp Patra into implementation points.
And meanwhile, the Northeast Live editor-in-chief, Wazir Hussain, also gave a perspective of Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma's summing up of the budget. Listen in.
The Chief Minister has made it very clear. He described this as a budget that is going to give a lot of succor to the middle class, and he has thanked the Finance Minister. He said that it was a remarkable feat on the part of the Finance Minister to have presented a budget without levying a single rupee as fresh taxes. One of the highlights of this budget, Raunak, is that there has been no new tax levied on the people, not a single rupee, and that has been quite challenging considering that the economy has taken a beating, taken a huge hit because of the prevailing COVID situation. And what the Chief Minister has also clarified on the budget, details of which were read out by the Finance Minister Ajanta Neog during her speech. Some of the highlights which the Chief Minister flagged was that there would be 1,000 new hospitals. A lot of the small dispensaries will be upgraded to hospitals. So there will be 1,000 new hospitals coming up in the state. That will be a huge boost to the health sector. 5 new medical colleges coming up. The Chief Minister described this as a revolutionary step, the emphasis on the health sector. It's not a matter of joke, Raunak, that Assam will have 1,000 new hospitals and 5 more medical colleges. And another thing the Chief Minister flagged is that, because of the COVID situation, when the educational institutions started imparting online education, that created a lot of divide between the rich and the poor. So this is digital divide, as the Chief Minister said, it had impacted on the poor people. Now this budget has said that the Finance Minister has come up with provisions for providing smartphones and paid net packages to 8 lakh students to eliminate this digital divide or to do away with this digital divide. So that is another huge achievement in the education sector. And of course, the priority has been given the agri and horticulture sector, where the state government under Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma is trying to bring about self-sufficiency. Another path-breaking initiative or path-breaking measure measure that the state government has undertaken in this budget is to provide cooked meals to urban poor. The Chief Minister also clarified, went a step further to clarify. He said that, urban poor comprises a chunk of the people in cities like Guwahati, Dibrugarh and other places. So whether it is in the railway station, whether it is in front of the Deputy Commissioner's office, whether it is in Guwahati or Dibrugarh and other places, there will be provision to provide a cooked meal during lunchtime to the urban poor. That is something which is unique. And of course, the creation of new district of Tamulpur, that has also been highlighted. And of course, another major problem facing Assam is that of encroachment. In particularly, if you take the Guwahati city into account, encroachment in the hills in and around Guwahati has been a huge problem. It is not only creating to overcrowding in the city, but it is also leading to environmental hazards because people are cutting the hills to set up houses and so on, and people are also facing a lot of risk because there has been mudslides leading to disasters. So the Chief Minister said, and this budget has provided for drones to keep track of encroachment. They're saying that they will not going to disturb people who are already there, but they're only going to check whether there are new encroachments. So these are some of the revolutionary steps in this budget, and of course the highest allocation is in the finance sector, and of course the education sector, health sector, panchayat and rural development, and PWD, roads, public works, roads. The focus is to translate the election manifesto, the promises that the BJP and its allies have made in the election into reality, and this budget just proved just that the government is hell-bent on implementing some of its election promises.